Hello. So basically today I wanted to talk about verbs. First of all, welcome to day 7 of my 21 days to boost your German vocabulary. Today I will be talking about different verbs and how you can learn these verbs effectively and what you need to watch out for when learning these verbs. So very important when you are writing your verbs on the cards. I always have cards handy. What you need to watch out for is to make sure all the information is on there. Now, when it comes to verbs, you've got different types of verbs. And I've just prepared something just to share with you. So first of all, the different verbs. The first verb to talk about are the separable verbs. Separable verbs are very common in German. You basically have a verb like machen, make, and then you've got 20 different prepositions you can add to the front of it, making all different verbs. Pardon me. So in this case, I use anmachen to switch on, turn on. And one thing that you could do when you're putting the verb onto your card is, for example, if you're new to separable verbs, you could write it down as anmachen, just have a little line that you know it's a separable verb. The other thing that you could do as well, you could add a little sentence. For example, ich mache das Licht, ich mache das Licht an. I switch on the light. Yeah, it just gives you a little help to learn the verb and also that it's separable, and you're putting it in a sentence, making sure the preposition goes to the very end. It just helps you to learn the verb better. By putting it into a sentence, it gets it into a proper situation, so it's a little bit easier. Also be aware that some verbs that look separable, like wiederholen, to repeat, are not separable. So I could say, ich wiederhole heute mein Deutsch, zum Beispiel. Yeah? So in a way, so ich wiederhole heute mein Deutsch. So there, wiederholen is not a separable verb. Now, the next group of verbs, which is a very large group as well, are verbs with prepositions. And these prepositions take a specific case. So basically, warten auf. So when you're using warten auf, it would always go with the accusative. Now, some of you who know a little bit more German may suddenly think, hang on a minute, auf, or an as well in my next example, are Wechselpräpositionen. They're changeable prepositions. They can take two different cases. Why would I have warten with accusative and to participate, teilnehmen, with a dative? Now, very often in different sentences, you ask yourself the question to do with movement. Movement would be accusative, no movement, dative. Now, when it comes to prepositions and verbs, so prepositions that fit to verbs, you cannot ask yourself that question. Verbs have a specific preposition, and with that comes a specific case. So either you know it or you need to look it up. So to look it up, for example, let's say I put warten in here. Yeah, so if you're not sure which case it takes, you look it up. And let's say warten, we're looking for the auf. There we go. So warten auf, or here as it says auf jemanden warten, that little dn actually shows you it is the accusative. I'll write it down on the board in a second. So jemanden warten means the accusative. So your dictionary, amuseleo.org, fabulous dictionary. The dictionary shows you which case you use. Now, let's say if I look for the other one that I have written down on the board is teilnehmen an. Teilnehmen is right at the front here. An etwas plus dative teilnehmen. Yeah, it gives us this dative right away in a group, in a bracket, because it's not a person. So etwas teilnehmen, teilnehmen an is with the dative. So you need to look them up. You cannot guess these. Well, actually, you can always guess, obviously, but it's good to look them up so you know exactly what it is. It is actually that 99% of these changeable prepositions are taking the accusative. There aren't many with a dative, but best is to look it up. If you're not sure, look it up. Now, on my board, hang on, there we go. So on my board, I've basically given you warten auf and teilnehmen an, warten auf, to wait for, and teilnehmen an. Let me just write the little abbreviation there. So in there, for the warten auf, we had the JMDM, JMDN. JMDN stands for jemanden. Jemanden means somebody. And because it ends on the DEN, it is the accusative. If I were to have a JMDM, which would be jemandem, again somebody, would be with the dative because of the DEM. Think of den is accusative and dem is dative, like you learned from your cases. So sometimes you find these to show you which case to use. So with the warten auf, we saw jemanden. The teilnehmen, it gave us directly, it gave us the, I think actually my screen didn't share properly earlier, so I'll show it to you again. So jemanden, teilnehmen, gives you the dative. So let me show you again, this time properly. It's one of those days. I think I went through the wrong screen. Sorry about that. So there you go. I just, so teilnehmen, now you can see teilnehmen gives us the an etwas teilnehmen, and it gives you the dative here right away. And when I put down, when I write down warten, warten auf, there we go. It's on the next page. There. Here for warten auf, we actually have auf jemanden warten. So the jemanden is what I was talking about, that it shows you the accusative, where the jemandem may show you a different verb for the dative. Let's say helfen. Let's take a good old dative verb. And right away, you see that it says jemandem, got the M here. And that shows you that it's a dative that you need to be using. Let me go back to my board. So yeah, so those are the different cases. So make sure that when you're learning a verb with a preposition, make sure you also have the right case. And the prepositions usually are very interesting when it's different to the one of your mother tongue. Let's compare English, for example. Germans, I would say warten auf. In English, I would say to wait for. So we use two different prepositions. So that's why when it becomes interesting or necessary to learn the preposition. The third verbs I wanted to talk about are reflexive verbs. So when you have a reflexive verbs, always make sure that you're adding the sich on your card. When you write it on your card, make sure you write sich freuen auf. And in this case, sich freuen auf, to look forward to, it has a preposition as well, and I added the case here as well. So when you have the verb to look forward to, sich freuen auf, make sure you write the whole thing on your card. The sich for being reflexive, the auf for having the preposition, and the case that it goes with the accusative at all times. All right. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that, and sorry about my little my little hiccup with the sharing the screens. I will have a look in a minute, and I'm pretty sure I didn't share it right the first time, so sorry about that. But anyway, you've got it all there. If you have any questions to that, please let me know. But make sure that you write all the information onto the cards for your verbs. So to get the best out of your verbs is really, really good to write all the information on, and with some of them to write a sentence underneath. For example, with the reflexive ones, you can also write a sentence underneath or the preposition, just to show you to using the right cases. I hope you enjoyed today, and I will see you tomorrow for day number 8 of 21 days to boost your German vocabulary. Looking forward to seeing you there. See you then. Bye. Tschüss.